Hey, good morning. Are we up? Good. It looks very gloomy out there, but it's not. It's just the shadow. It's going to be a hot, bright, boiling day today, same as everywhere, I guess. Good morning. Yeah, it's really bright. It's a bright day. There's not a cloud in the sky here today at all. I think today and tomorrow are the same thing. And we got a sort of a floater, I guess. It'll look better maybe a bit later on. There's a bunch of activity out there. I'm not sure what's going on. Is there something happening in the neighborhood this morning? It is a weekend. Okay. All right. Something today a little bit different. This was not planned. I was supposed to be doing carving today, but yesterday was, what's the expression? There's a patent expression for it. The kind of one of those days. What's the expression? I don't know. Where everything went wrong yesterday. Everything that I touched, everything everybody touched, it was kind of chaos yesterday. Starting first thing in the morning, you open your computer up, and the first email says, Dave, I know something happened, and you realize, oh my God. So yesterday, the normal work stream got yesterday was firefighting, and I mean real firefighting with a hose, just firefighting all day long. Those of you who are in line for Patreon Chibis, some of you got an email from Ayano-san yesterday. It doesn't. You build systems so that they have a fail-safe and then a fail-safe, and there's a digital check, and it says, are you sure you want to do this? And you click, yes, I want to do this. But of course, you know the routine. When this comes up every day, you know your brain doesn't come into gear. The thing comes up, are you sure you want to do this? You click yes. And sometimes you actually don't want to do it, but you click yes, whatever. So anyway, whatever, long story short, yesterday was real firefighting. It turns out we've sent over 100 prints out by mistake. The same print through the same plan was sent to the same person, and I think 90 of them, 97 of them, I'm not sure exactly. They're still digging to try and find what actually happened. But over 90 prints were sent in error over the past couple of weeks. And yesterday morning I found out because somebody wrote to me and said, Dave, I got the same print that I got 2 weeks ago. Is there something wrong? And it wasn't just one person, it was a systemic problem. We don't need to know who made the error. It doesn't matter. You know the rule, praise in public, criticize in private, but whatever. So anyway, back to the story. Today is not carving. Today is the work I was supposed to do yesterday. They're share certificates. And I thought, what the heck, let's do this. I've got to print share certificates. I started doing, actually late last night, I started the first batch. I started printing share certificates. And I've got to, put the names and numbers in. And I won't do the actual packaging and mailing. That gets passed on to the girls. But I can print them one by one and get them trimmed and put some names in. Those of you who know what this is, you saw these a while ago. You've seen what's happening here. This is the package. This is the print that came back from Kawai-san, Atsushi Kawai. He's done our batch of these this year. There's about 50 or so in the batch. So this is paper from Awagami Company, inkjet printing paper. And we grab it first and do our woodblock part of it. And then I started last night, I'll do some more this morning. I stick it in the inkjet printer here, and out comes our certificate. And it really looks kind of neat. It's a good combination. There's stuff that we really don't need to be carving by hand. Obviously, it doesn't make any sense to do that. And yet we have an actual woodblock print on our share certificate. And we've been doing this now for, is this the 5th one or the 6th one in a row? I don't know. And they turn out really well. It's happened to have been a really, really, really good idea. I'm very happy with it. Maybe it's a little disappointing for the people because they get the same certificate each year. It's the same copy, but hey, it's just David saying thank you. How many ways can I say that? So I think it's better. It's the same certificate, but the print is different. And as we talked before, I think you can guess what next year's share certificate is going to look like. This is the one for 2022, and the one for 2023, you can guess where we will be going with that. Anyway, as I said, I started a bunch of this last night, so I've got some already printed. I've got to trim and sign them, and while we're doing that, we will get the next batch printed. I stole the printer from the office upstairs, so I brought it down here. And they have to feed one by one. The printer doesn't like it when you put more than one sheet of the origami paper inside. Print, scale 100%. Presets, photo mat paper, go. Okay, you go ahead. In the meantime, I'll get busy on a couple of these. So, Chicken Meister's got a course. Next year we will be doing a night scene. Tom 1060 is asking, is the paper out? The paper is not out and nobody is here today. It is a hot weekend and all the people have got good sense. They're staying home. Suga-san was here till late last night printing Great Waves, and she said, I'll come back tomorrow to finish them off and get them out of the drawing boards. And I said, no, go home. We can do that on Monday. So there's nobody here but me today. Taking your time. Thank you. I'm glad I did a bunch of these in advance. Something I heard you can't use AC in Japan, is that right? There's air conditioning all over the place. We have 4 of them in this building, and we were talking about that last week. We were fighting about this. The staff here is trying to get me to buy more air conditioners, and I'm not going to do that. So I'm not sure where you get the idea that there's no air conditioning in Japan. Is someone asking about the bell? There is a bell next door on the Oyster Shack. They have a wind chime hanging outside. So here we go. After trimming, it's good. You know, when you've trimmed off the yellow outside paper, it really, really does look like an actual, you know, it looks like that's the background. What you're seeing there at the edge actually is printed pattern, and it really comes up looking very, very nice. I'm very, very proud of these. And I'm not sure what to do here about the numbers and stuff. I know these have to get numbered and named for people, but I really shouldn't be doing people's names and stuff on the stream. So, so I think what I can do, well, there is an inkjet. What are you doing? Speak, speak. That's all you got to do. You got to go live and things break down. Anyway, whatever. We don't need that. If it prints, it's fine. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Okay, as I said, there's numbering and names here, but I think we should keep the names off the stream, I think. So what I'll do, I've got my list with all the people who are due to get one of these this month. And I know which numbering is next, so I think what I'll do at this point then is I can... It is printing, but it's like going zzz, zzz every 60 seconds or so. Is the stream interfering with it? I don't know. Just whatever. So, okay, the next one is number 229. So, Dave tries to get his good handwriting. Dave doesn't have good handwriting, but whatever. 229. I'll leave the name off then. And this is the 30th day of July, 2020. I can put the name in, right? If I just do it at the side here where you can't see it for a second, we can get this done. I don't want to mix up these names. I can do this. That's okay. I don't know what this thing's doing. We could have carved and printed it faster, whatever. Hi, 0229. Hi, okay, next one. 0230. 0230. Vivian's got it when the inkjet runs out of ink at night. Come on, you know how to do it. You keep an active box and you keep an unopened box. And as soon as you open the active box, you order another unopened box. Then when this one's out of the way, the day you open this one, you order the next one. And we are 2 ahead. So this part of it I'm okay on. You can't wait till something's gone. It's like toilet paper. Come on, you don't wait till the end of the roll before you buy some more. I think it's hand engraving. It's coming out. I can see it. It's coming. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I've got lots. Luckily, I started printing this last night. It's okay. Okay, look, it's not really going to be a super interesting stream today. If you've got interesting points to poke me with, that's fine. Other than that, and I'm really worried about getting this numbering wrong. So it's okay. I've got my master sheet. That was 230. Next one is 0231. And it's also the 30th day of July, 2022. Debo. And again, we'll do the name part, I think, a little bit off stream to be just polite, I think. Unless it's somebody that I know from here, who knows? Whatever. I can see it. You can see it. You've got to be kidding. Last night, when I was printing them upstairs, they came out just like at normal speed. Whatever. These are the only things that we actually publish at Mokuhankan that have numbers. Nothing else we do ever has numbers. We don't number our prints. So for us, normally, we don't really have to keep track of what number we're up to or what kind of things are going on. But with these share certificates, of course, we've been numbering them right from the beginning. This is the 232nd certificate we've put out over the period of, when did we start this? 2017 or so. So we have a very careful system of numbering. We've got a database on it, of course, and I print out from the database showing who's got what number up to now and things like that. And very carefully. It would be no fun at all if we were making mistakes and giving out the same number. It kind of denigrates what you're doing. So very, very careful with this numbering. And with the Patreon, there's people that come and go, and there's some people that have stayed all the time. There's people at the top of this list that joined on the first day of the Patreon, and they're still here, they're still with us. And my God, I don't say thank you often enough, but it really is, thank you. Did I sign him last year on the stream? Really, did I? You saw me carving the thing. I don't remember. It's quite possible I had a different idea, so. Boy, am I glad I did some of these last night. Wow. I printed them last night from our office computer upstairs onto this same printer. I brought this printer down this morning, and it's not running by Wi-Fi, it's connecting directly. Is that a problem? Maybe it's not plugged in. It is talking by Wi-Fi. So somebody said I did sign some on stream, could I? The printer, I don't think it's hot. It's just a normal little, no, doesn't seem hot, doesn't seem to do anything. It's just a normal little inkjet printer sitting there. And it's futzed anyway. What? What? Look at this. Look at this. Okay, diagnosis, please. What's the problem here? Look at this. Here's what the thing should look like. Take a look at these, the fonts that have a big flourish on them. Do you see where it says woodblock prints? It's part of the glyph that seems to have gone out of the line, the line spacing. Look what's happened, look. The fancy glyphs didn't pick up color. It got the space. It's something to do with the composting. And also, yeah, look at this. You can see this. Look at the type. Normal, quite light type. It's become heavily spread out. It's the same setting. Okay, not going to muck with it here on stream. We have enough prints to get going. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Machines, man, machines. The minute you go live, okay, goodbye to you. Excuse me. They are indeed. It's a PDF file that's printing, and the same fonts are on the same machines. In fact, that's my computer from which I printed them out for the past 5 years. The same file. What's plan B? Plan B is to stop it right now. I'll just work with what I have here on my desk, and to print the rest of them, I will take the printer back upstairs to the main office printer, to the main office computer, which did the job properly last night. It's not worth sitting here fighting, trying to work with printer settings with a live stream going. It's just not worth it, I'm sorry. My apologies for the slight disruption. Luckily, not luckily, but I did prepare last night in advance enough to do this. Printers of every kind, printers. Oh, speaking of printers then, I can say something. It's sort of a tease, it's sort of a leak, I'm sorry. I can't help it. Rei-chan and Chon-san came over last night. Rei-chan is one of our printers and Chon-san is one of our carvers. They're a couple, they're an act. They're the people who are responsible for example, the 8 Views of Cats, the new print, The Descending Geese. Chon-san did the carving on that, and Dei-chan did all the proofing and testing and running up. So that's the couple, Dei-chan and Chon-san. They came over last night. They had been working on the carving and test proofing of the September print in this year's series. The August print you saw, I carved it here. That's being printed as we speak by Kubota-san. And they've been doing the carving and test printing on the September print. You haven't seen them because I didn't do it here. You know nothing about this at all. I saw the first proof last night. It's incredible. It's incredible, and this is plus and minus. They've gone over the top. They've carved it. He's carved it too delicately, too finely. It can't be printed properly. Dei-chan prints it because they're a couple and they work together. But when we give this to the other printers, Suga-san is going to see this and just steam is going to start to come out of her ears. I'm going to have a real problem next week when we start the printing of this thing. But it's beyond belief. It's beyond belief. I know. It's a set of 5 prints. You know how this works. It's a set of 5 prints. And they're supposed to be little shrinking down from bijinga. We've seen something like this, the little match labels. And a real bijinga, it has separate eyeballs, it has separate overlays for the hair, maybe a couple of overlays for the hair, a special gradation block inside. When you're going to print this big, you can do that. When you shrink it down to a match label size, you simplify it. Height, face, okay, 1, hair, okay, 1, away you go, kimono color, blah, blah, blah. 1 block for the face, 1 block for the hair, and away you go. You know where the story is going. He has split it up in the same way as though it was a full-sized bijinga. Separate blocks for the eyeballs, an underlay for the hair, separate block for the bright shiny hair. All in all, just to print the face is key block, eyeballs, eyebrows, skin tone, underlying hair, overlay hair. There's 6 blocks just for the face, and there's 5 women all in a row, and everything has to line up. And we've got to sell this for whatever it is. It's $55. I'm torn. I've told him not to do this. He knows not to do this. He brought it in and he put his head down and he said, here's the work. And he knows steam is going to come out of my ears. You can't tell anybody don't do this, because he's just trying to do his best, and we're all trying to do his best, and he knows we're trying to make drop dead gorgeous prints, and he wants his name to live forever after as the guy who can carve these things. You know, I know, because it's me. It's the same thing, but I have to publish these damn things. So we had there's 2 Daves talking to him. The Dave says, oh my God, this is fantastic, glorious, thank you. And then the Dave that says, what am I going to do? And both things are true, you know. So we had a friendly discussion, again, a frustrated friendly discussion. I sent them back. They've got the simplified. He's carved all these 5 or 6 blocks. There's 3 of them or whatever we're not going to use. We just can't use these. And he had to understand we can't do that, you know. And maybe he's made his demonstration print. It's there. He can keep that for his keepsake, but we cannot publish like that. The printers would quit. They just would quit. They'd say, sorry, Dave, we can't do that. Anyway, you're going to get, those of you who are in on this series can get, you're going to get really nice prints. I don't know what level they're going to be, but you're going to get a pretty spectacular print set in September. Next year, the problem is solved. We're not going to have this problem next year, because we're going to give him, he already knows what the job is for next year's subscription series. He's going to be making 4 of the prints. Like, there's some of this is I'm under an NDA, so I can't talk about it, but some of them is open. Next year's series will be a set of 12 prints, and there's 3 carvers who are going to do this series. Chon-san, the boy I'm talking about, he's going to do 4 of the prints, probably number 1, 4, 8, and 10. Whatever, we don't, that's not been decided yet. Another 4 of them are going to be done by me. So there's going to be 3 carvers. Chon-san's going to do 4. I'm going to do 4. And guest carver Asuka Motoharu, you know, the Asuka sensei, the carver you've seen in that famous video, the Japanese older carver, the guy my age, the carver, the video on Vimeo. So the 3 of us are going to share the carving. And that means for a monthly series, each one of us has 3 months to do his work. Now, it won't take 3 months. I'll do mine in, quote, a few days of Twitch time. You know how that works. Asuka Sensei will do the same thing. He'll get each one done in a couple of weeks. And Chon-san, our boy, just whatever. You can take your 3 months to do this. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Go and live in your little hole and make a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous little print. So that's what next year's series is going to be about. We're going to share it between 3 carvers. I've mentioned Motoharu Asuka. Can somebody, I should have prepared in advance, can somebody find a link, please, for him? There's a video on Vimeo for him. Should I look it up, or can I ask somebody else to look it up? If his name is Asaka Motoharu on Vimeo. There's a beautiful, beautiful video, about 12, 15 minutes long. It's a little bit saccharine. It's a little bit the old traditional carver and his own, you know, it's a little bit overdone, but it shows the guy nicely in what he's doing. John Becker is saying, I need someone to document this on video. I can't talk about this because of the NDA, but Now what's it doing? Saying thank you. Go to sleep. Someone's got a Chicken Meister has a video. Is it vimeo.com? I don't recognize the number, but if it's a video about Mokuhankan Asuka, then that's the video. He's a real super nice guy. It's Taran-san's teacher, Taran-san's oyakata, sensei. Okay, good, thank you. Good. Anyway, so he's on the job. So he's on the show. There will be 3 of us then carving next year. And the plan is, well, we're going to make our own videos as well. But as far as John mentioned, video documentation, outside people are going to be involved. I don't know. News. What other news was there? I know there's a heads up. Today is Saturday. The plan for next Saturday is I won't be here in Asakusa. I have an appointment in Ome on Sunday to get my 4th, booster. Not 4th booster, 2nd booster, the 4th shot. That's happening in Ome on Sunday next week. And I haven't seen the weather forecast for the next week in advance, but if it looks like a good weekend next weekend, then I guess what I should do is, again, I should go out there Friday afternoon and maybe next Saturday's stream, a week from today, the stream, let's make a tentative date for an Ome stream next Saturday. I can't 100% promise, because if the weather looks terrible and it's going to be pouring rain or something, then I'll just go out for the shot and come back on the train that day. But if it looks like it's going to be a nice weekend, as we get closer, maybe on Thursday's stream here this week, we can maybe make a date for this, talk about this, whatever. But the current plan is the stream 1 week from today will be a fish stream. And what I want to do, after the experience we had last time, I chatted with Aoyama-san about this yesterday. When we were doing the chiritori machine a few months ago, before I took a break and went over to Canada, remember I was practicing. I had a couple of fish tanks with water in, and we were practicing how to take out chiri and stuff like this. The idea is for me to take one of those fish tanks, drill a hole in the side, put it upside down in the river with the camera inside, and see if I can get a view of those fish from underwater without destroying my camera. I don't know. This is whatever. We'll see if we can do this maybe next week. I shouldn't advance this. I shouldn't announce what I'm going to try and play with, because when it doesn't work, it's no fun. But that's the idea. I want to try doing that. So if the weather's good, I'm going to head out there Friday. I'll spend the afternoon and evening fooling around with glass boxes and stuff, and I can see if I can get a camera in the river. And if it works, next Saturday's stream will be from underwater. I shouldn't have talked about this. Given our luck with technology here. So someone's got it. Fish for Fun says, what could go wrong? So. I shouldn't mention it. Okay, now I have a problem. This next person here, his name, he's got a triple name, and it's long, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 26 characters long. I am going to have trouble with this person's name. Note to the Patreon. Put on the Patreon page. Only people with short names are allowed to join our Patreon. Hyphen. Got it in there. It ain't pretty, but it's in there. The next one. What am I gonna do? No. The next one. It's a couple who are doing the thing on Patreon. And I've had this over the years all the time. There was a I got into a subscription request once from whatever. I can't tell people's names, but it's a Mr. P. Okay, it's a Mr. P in somewhere. So I sent the packages, and the name had Mr. P on the box. And I don't remember all the details of the story, but at that time I used to put the collectors' names. This was the Poet series. I put the collectors' names in each package. And I put his name. It wasn't Mr. P. I wrote his name. It was S, blah, 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 P, blah, 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 blah. And they wrote back politely and said, okay, but actually it's both of us together that are buying these things. So can you put both of our names in? So it came out that they wanted his name, her name, last name, blah, 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 blah. And that's what we've got now. These people are supporting the Patreon. And it's her name and his name, last name, which is what they've registered as in the Patreon, which is fair enough. You know, she's part of the deal. I get it. But I have a problem. Whatever, write small. Initials, I don't know. It's impolite to show if I put M and J last name. I wonder what I can do. I can abbreviate the and. How do you do those things? What's an ampersand look like? I never use that. I don't know how to write it. That's a treble clef. What does an ampersand look like? Someone's got it. How do you do that? It looks like a treble clef. Up from the right. I think I do. Let me just write small. I'll try and do this. You gotta go with this. Treble clef. We're okay. Yeah, plus could have worked. Yeah. So no one can write ampersands. I think the thing I just did looks like a treble clef. That I can do because of all the years I spent in music. So I think it's okay. It's okay. Next one is for a couple and their dog. So, no, next one is, actually I just come back to the top of this. Next one is the very first person who ever signed up for the Patreon. So, good. Korigami says, making progress on the bamboo. Link, or it didn't happen. Picture, please, Korin-san. If you don't post it in, somebody else. Post it in. No pictures yet. Put the link in that was here the other day. There's people here that didn't see what you posted the other day. Okay, this next person, as I said, this is the first person who joined the Patreon. I guess he happened to be at his computer the day I opened it up, and he just went over there and signed up. So he's the first person. That first day, a whole bunch of people did join. So this is his 5th share certificate. He got number 1, because we do these in order of people signing up. So he got number 1, number 58, number 116, 171, and now he's going to get 237. He's got quite a collection. There's some people who are really helping our work. You know, whatever. I shouldn't talk about it too much. I'm sorry, but saved our lives this past couple of years. My God, it's saved our lives. if there's people out there who are thinking these are valuable or these are worth anything, they are a woodblock print from Mokuhankan. They do have my signature, which most of our prints don't have, and they do have a number. So are these things prints? Like, would anybody want to buy one of these if they were out there for sale? I don't know. People have asked me this, what do you think they're worth, Dave? And I have no idea. I mean, that's not whatever, that's not what we do, I really, really, really don't have any idea. For myself, I think I just can't go there. None of my business to think about that. If I start thinking about that, things all go crooked, they go funny, So no, I'm not going to do that. It really isn't my business. As John's saying, you'd like to buy a share. No, I mean, me too. I would really, when we set this up, I wanted to do it so that people were investing in us, that it was a real share and you had X% of our business and I don't know, profits or dividends, whatever, I don't know. But we can't do that legally. You can't say something, here's a share and it's X% of our business just out of the open market, taking money for it. There's huge laws in any country, SEC in America and whatever. You can't just make up things called shares and sell them. It's not, they come after you. So these aren't shares, but I really, really would like to have some way to make it shares, Having said that, there's another story. Did you read that story that was going around the internet the other day? There's a new thing. It's the next thing after those, what are they called? NFTs, what were they called? NFTs, the thing that it's still there, but I want nothing to do with that stuff. That was the next big thing a few months ago. But the next big thing now for the next few months is, I guess there are people out there now who are using that NFT technology or something, not to sell like a stupid JPEG image or whatever. They are selling shares in their future earnings. You got a young person just out of college, whatever. He is going to be a bright star. He has a good education. He's going to start a couple of companies. They're going to fail. VC people will put money in. One of these companies will success. And the idea is that this young, hot person will sell shares in himself, herself, whatever. I'm a guy, himself. And it's like shares of future income, of future earnings, of future assets. I have no idea about the duty details down on the contract. But the idea, and I guess this is it, you do an IPO for yourself, So. And I saw this and I thought, And so sometimes I think, actually, I'm not saying this in any sarcastic way, I think there is something in there. I don't know how this will work, but I think there's something in there. When you think about this, there's a real problem/paradox in the way our society works these days. And all of you know how this works. I'll use my example. I got together with a young lady once. I dropped out of college, had a job, didn't have much income, got together with a young lady. Oops, there's a baby. Very typical. You're in your 20s. You've got a huge amount of energy. You've got insane numbers of things to do. You're trying to educate yourself. You're trying to make a living. You're trying to pay rent or buy a house. You've got a new kid. You're trying to pay shoes. You've got staggering expenses. And you still have staggering numbers of things to do because you're at the beginning of your education work stream still, and yet you have no resources. That's the person who is, say, 25. Then at the other end of the scale, you've got the person who is, let's just say 70, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, whatever. They've been through this, they've been there, they've climbed up, some failed, some climbed. These people, let's just say boomers for convenience, but it does nothing to do with boomers. These people have resources. They've got bank accounts and they've got money. Of course, they've got expenses, medical expenses coming. They've got maybe a good pension or not. It's not that they're free and clear sitting on tons of cash, but in general, the point is there. The assets in society are a huge part held by individuals at the top end of their life, and of course corporations, which don't die. And the requirements, the ones that have the heaviest burden and the ones we should be supporting and helping the most, are people at the starting end of their life. I don't mean 5 years old, I mean in their 25 or something. So suppose we had a market here where those people with those assets, yeah, so John Becker's saying it's always like it. Of course it's always like that, because over time you build up assets. This is not wrong, this is how it works. But what I'm saying is, now how can we leverage this? If you had the idea that the people with those assets would, quote, transfer, move some of those assets as an investment to the young Dave who was 25 and who was trying to study printmaking, but there's the diapers and all this kind of stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. If you could get it worked out as far as the details, the paperwork, the assets, the equity, I think there's something in there. Now, whether the story I read last week, it was all based on NFTs, so I just thought it was smoke and mirrors and didn't look at it. But I think at core there is something there. Those, quote, older people with resources could look at the prospectus and the thing, and they said, you know, that guy, he's a comer. I'm going to invest in him. And if the structure was there, the blockchain structure was there, and he gives me this asset, he pays my rent for the next 3 years in advance for taking something, would I have accepted such a deal? There's something there. I'm convinced there is something there. There's something there, and I don't have the knowledge of finance and anything else. Just when I read that, I thought, I got to think about this, because I think there's something there. In the old days, this was what a family was. You know, when we had extended families, the young people lived and were working around and among with the older people. The house was there, the structure was there, the family was there, the resources was there. The young people grew up in it and used the helpful resources of the older people. So in a traditional environment, extended families, etc., this was there as a matter of course. It's when we broke that thing up and became nuclear families, that's when that support disappeared, and young people are just thrown into the pool by themselves. Hey, swim, swim, swim. Oh, you got your babies, you got your education. Gee, you can do it, swim, swim, swim. With no help from an extended family. So someone's saying, when you employ someone, you're doing this. Well, yes and no. You know, I employ someone, but I don't. These days, we don't have lifetime contracts. Ayano-san is working here. She doesn't have a contract where she's bonded to me until she's 65. You know, you're sort of describing slaveholders or something. I don't know. So, yeah, we do have an employee coming in here who we want to support and use her labor and then hopefully develop. But I'm thinking of something a lot more documented and with liability and rights, you know. Well, some saying just seems like capitalism with extra steps. You know, I don't know, whatever. You know, capitalism is a thing. It's a way that we exchange our labor with other people. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that. So, you know. Anyway, I said I'm not presenting you with a fully thought out plan. Hey, let's do this. I'm just mentioning something that I saw the other day that really did buzz me. Boy, I am so happy that I was a good boy last night and did that work. I stayed up a bit late last night, you know. what I was thinking was, I was worried about the fact that the printer might be a bit slow and that I would get ahead of it. That's why I made a bunch of these in advance last night. I didn't expect that the printer would bomb out on me. The other thing about this printer, to go back to the printer, is, when you're printing multiple copies of something, you know how we do it. We stack the paper in the tray, we ask for 10, and it prints 10 sheets. I tried that last night with this, and in fact, I have experience from previous years. The origami paper in this printer will not take multiple copies. If you put 2 sheets or 3 or 5 or 10 sheets in there and ask it to print some, it takes the first one and half of the second one and part of the third one. It brings them through and it's crunch time. So when I was doing this last night, all these copies I printed had to be 1 start the driver, 1 print, 1 start the driver, print, 1. Because this origami paper doesn't feed through one sheet, more than one sheet at a time. So John's talking about his work. I wasn't expecting to see you here, John, son. I thought actually you were, busy with real life. John's mentioning he's been doing a lot of work the last couple of days. And without being sarcastic at all, I'm sorry, I didn't expect to see John here today. For those of you who don't know, John is actually a working, living photographer, kind of a breed that is kind of rare these days, I think. John makes his living as a photographer in a specialized niche, and seems, as far as we can tell, seems to be doing quite well at it. So God. John, please, your own work is a priority, absolutely. I mean, the people who are playing mods here, John and Karen and Corinne and Karen, excuse my mouth for not making that. The mods here, their help is very much appreciated, but well, when I said niche, I'm sorry, I didn't mean a niche, I meant I meant a niche. John is a photographer with a certain specific job. He's not a general, he doesn't go take pictures for the New York Times, whatever. John is a photographer in a certain type of pictures in a certain type of market. I didn't mean niche in a insulting sense at all, just a description. Actually, John and I were chatting a little bit about this on the email exchange we have in the back, and I asked him, is your job one of these jobs that's under threat from iPhones? Like journalism, photography, whatever. Everybody's got a phone in their pocket, so they shoot it. So there's a lot of people who used to be photographers, they no longer can make a living at it because everybody now is a cameraman. Everybody has a camera in their pocket. And I asked John specifically, is his job in danger from the people? We're going to sell our house, let's take some pictures, ka-chik, 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 put it on the website and sell it. Because in John's case, there's a huge amount of professional skill involved in making indoor pictures of rooms look really attractive. It's a skill set. So I asked him, John, did you put a link up? Have you put a link? Like that link we were talking about last week with all that 28 pictures of that house and stuff like that. Is that okay to put that in public or not? I don't know. Link if there is, John, please, absolutely, now that we're talking about this. Ah, Soka. John can't post links. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I have one. No, I don't know if I have. Give me a second here. I didn't expect this topic to come up. No, I can't. I'm sorry, I don't have a link handy here. John sent us a link to a while back to a house that was for sale, but I don't have a link handy. I'm sorry. Yeah, his website is there, but some of the pictures, whatever. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's up. But the thing about smartphone photographers, as I said, for general photographic use, smartphones are really doing a super job. But in John's case, it's not just like that. Anybody can stand in a room and shoot it. But it's not that simple. There's light from the windows, there's interior light, and when you stand with the camera, the walls all get funky. Like if you look at our outdoor camera right now, if that was a picture of the Asakusa street, look at this. The verticals don't work. The verticals lean in from the left, they lean in from the right, the light is too bright in one place, the light is too dark in another place. So even if we had a quote, good camera to do that, the picture would not look right. But if John was trying to shoot this scene for his house sales, he's got the ability to take these verticals and put them all straight and make it look, look right. And that's what Joe Blow with his iPhone can't do yet, I guess. So I don't know, maybe this is coming and iPhones will have the ability to do the perspective shifting and all that kind of stuff. No idea. Someone's asking about the red pigments, and we haven't. I'm sorry, the box is still pretty much as we received it. We've all looked at it, and we think there is some really, really good stuff in there. We haven't had a chance to explore. I know we've been struggling with printing. Sugu-san, who is the person who we would use to explore those pigments, she's been working on the Great Wave and doesn't want to get sidetracked. So I don't know when it'll be. But I have no news for you other than that to say those pigments are the real deal. They are going to be useful. What they all actually are, I don't know yet. I'm sorry. I think I'm okay with this number. What I'm terrified of is that I'm going to find out at the end of the stream today, I'm going to check my paperwork and I find out I skipped the number back there or something. And I think I'm okay. I'm being really, really careful with this. Next one is 241. I am being really careful with this numbering. Someone's asking, is it a stock certificate? No, we've mocked it up to look like an old-timey stock certificate. This is not a legal document of any kind. What we did was, in fact, Koringami on the stream here, he gave me a huge help. I threw him some ideas, and Koringami used his shop skills here, and he helped me mock this up. This is cut from an old-timey stock certificate, and we've replaced part of it. We've put our own logo mark in. The boat part you see here is a physically hand-carved, hand-printed woodblock print. Again, if you're late to the stream, we showed this back at the beginning of the stream, but let's show it again. Okay, no problem at all. It's made this way. We have sheets of inkjet washi paper from Awagami, and we carve and print this. I carved this on stream here a couple of months back, and our printer Kawai Atsushi printed this part of it. So once the woodblock prints are finished, we then get busy with an inkjet printer, and we have a file, an image file that we've made from using, as I said, old-timey stock certificates that we have edited heavily. And we've turned it into a Mokuhankan woodblock prints, 100 shares. But this is not a legal document. It says share certificate, it says share in the fun certificate. So no, it's not actually a share certificate. It's all it is really at heart. It's Dave's personal thank you note to the people in our Patreon campaign who are supporting us at the top level. We've got different levels in the Patreon. And we've been doing the same thing for 5 years. I carve it. I used to do some of the printing as well. I don't do the printing now. Our staff has been printing these. I do all the inkjet printing myself, and I do the sitting here and looking at and signing and sending it out. So it's just our way of trying to do as much of a personal thank you as we possibly can to the people who are sharing resources with us. Show and tell. Okay, show and tell, show and tell. Today's show and tell is, today's show and tell is a little bit different. It's here somewhere. It's over there. It's a box. So I was asking, do the wood blocks for the Ginza in rain print look different from the traditional hand-cut ones? Well, yes, of course. I don't have the blocks here. I've seen pictures of them, that's all. The Ginza in the rain, it's cut by laser, of course. But they don't cut it 100% by laser. They cut the edges of the lines by laser, but it's not useful for the laser to try taking out all the unwanted areas. So they cut the borders of the color blocks by laser, and they cut the lines of the key block by laser. And then the publisher, Kashiwagi-san himself, he gets in there with a chisel and cuts it all away. So they're kind of a bastardized block. They're mixed. They're burned laser for the outlines, and they're cleared away by a chisel for the other parts. I don't have them here. We don't do it that way ourselves. But and when it comes then to the printer, for the most part, it really is no big difference from a traditional set of blocks. A couple of things. They're using a plywood for the color blocks, so those are kind of murky and a bit difficult to print. But the key blocks they're using cherry, and for the printer, it's no big difference. Dave 24242 height name height. There's some question marks on my list of names, you know. The way that we set the Patreon up is there's a 5, 10, and it's a 2, 5, 10, 25 deal. And to do at this level to get a share, people do $25 each time they put it in. So no problem, and it goes along, and it just clicks. If you do 25 a month, then it's 300 a year, and you get the certificate. We've got one this month where somebody went to 275 and then sent an email saying, I can't continue, my job situation is whatever what it is. So we get to the list now. I've got the list near how this person actually technically doesn't qualify. He's not supposed to get this because the rule said you got to be, 300. But of course, common sense. I put a check beside his name. This person is going to get this thing anyway, even though he didn't actually hit the limit of this. The intention had been there, and of course we do that. But some of them don't write to us. Some of them don't tell us. People sometimes just, they leave, and we don't know what happened. And I'm not going to ask, why have you stopped? What's going on? I am going to say absolutely nothing. They don't think I made enough videos. They've lost their job. They're dead. I don't know. So I do not ever go to the Patreon people and say, hey, how come you're not doing this anymore? We don't do that. But I've got my little decision tree here to make. Somebody didn't quite get to the proper level, then of course common sense says to do this. And in the case of the person who sent the email last week, he said, I'm going to have to drop to a low level right now. Well, there's nobody on the planet that would make any other decision. He gets one of these, of course. But what I'm worried about is the people that don't tell me and don't know. And when they drop off the radar from Patreon, just doesn't send us the information anymore, then it won't come up on my list because he's dropped off the radar. But I won't know. It could be that I should be sending a certificate, but I don't know because they haven't communicated, And I get it. People might be a little embarrassed. I don't want to actually tell Dave, I'm sorry, I can't do this. It's a bit embarrassing. So they just quietly step back, But the ones that quietly step back, I don't see what happened. So it's a bit frustrating sometimes. Anyway, all I can do is work with the information that I've got. So. Another long name. Got it. Someone's talking about the lasers there, the conversation's disappearing. Kashiwagi-san, the guy who is doing the Ginza in the Rain, who is publishing those, Miyako-Dori's publisher, Kashiwagi-san, he works for a laser company. And it's really apparently a very, very high-tech setup they've got there. And what he's doing with his lasers is different from what other people are doing. Most of the laser cutting, you see the laser is burning straight down and it cuts into the wood, blah, 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 blah. It leaves a sharp edge, maybe a little bit of a burned edge, maybe it depends on your substrate. But those lasers are cutting straight down. Such a block is difficult / impossible to print in the wood block form because when the edges of the cut are straight up and down, if it's a thin line, it'll break, and also the brush leaves pigment on the edge. What he's done is he has arranged his laser technology so that they know the vertical position of the substrate. And the laser has not only the X, Y, and all this, and they dial in the Z. The Z is variable, and the angle of the laser is variable. So he is working in a three-dimensional setup where if you imagine a line that needs to be carved here, the laser is cutting at an angle, and then it comes back up, and it goes the other way, and it cuts the other. So his blocks actually have tapered lines on this. This is a whole level. The software to do that, I'm sorry, you look at the vectors are there and how far up and how far, and when you get a curve, that laser has to come down at an angle and sweep around at an angle. This is complex software he's built for this thing. So that block that he's got is much more printable than your traditional burn down in a straight line laser cut system. It is extremely sophisticated. And when I saw the block, he showed me the sample a while ago, I'm like, that is one hell of an accomplishment. I think he should make more YouTube videos, he should talk about it, and he should explain more about what he's doing. And if he did that, the prints would be much more attractive to the market. At the moment, there are people who are saying, Tsuchimochi's prints, it's laser cut. I don't want that. I want the stuff that Dave carved by hand. And I get that, but his is also very well done stuff. It's not just push a button, machine, brain dead work. And I think he should publicize that more and talk about it more and show it more. But that's not my business. It's his own business. Next one, 244. Going to a gentleman in Germany. He's been a long time supporter. With another very long name. You know, now that I think about it, it might have been a better idea if I, at the beginning, if I had made this namespace longer. I thought it was long enough, you know. When you think about this, I kind of thought that was long enough for people's names. If I make it too long, then a little name like Dave Bull is just going to sit there in the middle of this vast empty runway space. Maybe I should print two versions, long names and short name versions. I don't know. Whatever, can't be helped. It's done by now. Show and tell. Oh, yes. Okay, let me do one more here then. We have a show and tell, a different type of show and tell. Okay. One sec here. Okay, the show and tell object is kind of big. Let me go get it. I'll have to go get the box. Ah. どうも、はい、ありがとうございます。はい。どうも、ありがとうございます。Okay, a couple of things. This is not specifically show and tell, but let's have a look. I think I know what it is. Let's have a peek. This is from one of our printers. The package the guy delivered actually is planed blocks. Aoyama-san has prepared a bunch of new blocks, and in fact, what he's just delivered there, they are color blocks for the Surfer Girl. There's no point in opening me just now. There's a bunch of blank empty blocks. They're blocks that look like this. They're blocks that we have had prepared, and they are the blank blocks for the Surfer Girl and a couple more from Matsushima and for the Bartlett project. And this is prints from one of our printers. We have the show and tell item here, but quickly. Okay, this is something that's going to be new coming into our catalog. It's new/old. These are blocks from my original Hunga Treasure Chest series. And Kawai-san, Mr. K, has been printing some of them. This is Mr. K, Atsushi Kawai. And he has done this at first sight. They look really, really nice. Let's have a look here. A bit too bright, let's get it. I think he has done a very nice job. Look at the gradations. One down, one up, one down, one down. 4 gradations on this thing. He is really doing a beautiful job for us. You know, for someone that came to us a while ago and worked for print parties, he's doing some pretty damn fine printing for a print party host. That's for sure. Look at this. He's done a beautiful job on this. Whoa. Mind you, this is the top sheet. The way they do this, let's look at the bottom. Let's jump to the bottom. Kawai-san, is he watching? He's going to say, no, it doesn't matter. He's fine. He's fine. We can jump to the bottom. Looks good. That's the bottom one. Then the top one of the group is an interesting one. It's a print that is showing good, bold calligraphy. This is from one of those Art Deco books published in the 1920s. You've seen this before. And this is now going into our Hunga Club catalog. And it's very heavily, thickly, richly embossed. Kawai-san's not an outside printer now. He's an inside printer. He's an employee of us. There's a difference. And with the outside printers, well, the flow of the money and stuff is different. For the outside printers, it's the same work, the same job. We give them the blocks, we give them the copy, and we tell them what to do. They give it back to us. We count them. there's 55 okay, 54 okay, then they make up an invoice, they bill us, and we pay them as we're paying an outside company. That's the outside printers. People like Kubota-san works for us that way. Kawai-san is an employee. He's an employee, so he doesn't send us an invoice. He will just get paid each month. He gets his pay. It's based on, it's a floating. It's based on what he does. The months he does more prints and does more copies and gets more good ones, the pay floats higher. The downside is we have to deduct, taxes and healthcare and all that kind of stuff from it. But he is one nice asset for us, and I hope I can get it going for him. This Corona thing has really, really hurt people like Kawai-san. He was here, he was doing print parties, he was meeting people, he was working as a printer upstairs. His life was interesting, active, enjoyable. He met people every day. And since Corona and there's no parties, he just sits at home in his house. I think he lives with his uncle. Doesn't meet anybody. Doesn't get out. It's not good. It's not good. Okay. Some of you may already know what this is. It's a box that came to me from Jed-san. Jed sent this. And it's drop shipped, I believe. It probably came from China, or did it? No, it came from Jed himself, Soka. He must have received them from China and then sent one to me. Ha ha ha. Think. A special thing coming from Jed over to me. This is fun. Kantar! No way! Kantar, you always get this! What's going on? Kantar always gets this stuff. People are going to be suspicious, guy. They're thinking that you have an inside track on this. Have you got access to my webcam? Kantar's got it. Oh, he stalks Jed. I see. It's part 2. Dave is into figurines these days. Not really. Okay, now should people know what this is? Kantar, explain what this is. So, was it on the box? Geez, I didn't even notice if it was on the box. Okay. Now this time I got to be careful, because the last time we did this a year ago, I broke the damn thing. I broke it right in front here on stream. As I opened it up, I broke the damn thing. Some assembly required. Is it a year? I don't know. Oh, well, we have a problem here, Houston, because this is 100 little pieces. I was thinking we would just pick this thing up and take it out of the box. That's not how this works. Some assembly required, a huge amount of assembly required. Let's find some of the active stuff here. Okay, you get the idea of what this is going to be. I really, really don't want to break this. We did the first one, and I broke the damn thing trying to put it together. For those of you who don't know what this is, let me go get the other one. Let me get the companion piece for those of you who don't know what's happening here. 1 second. it a year ago? I don't remember. It arrived here. It's a sculpture or a figurine. I don't even know what these things are called. A 3D sculpture or a figurine of some kind. You tell me what they're called. They're produced by one of these limited edition type companies. And they approached Jed a long, long time ago. Could they make a couple of these things based on his print of the rickshaw cart? Good. Contor's got some links here. Thank you, very good. And this came a year ago, and I thought that was it. But the original woodblock print, you know, the poster we have outside, is the famous M character being chased and fighting with another character. So what the figurine, there's actually two parts to it. The thing actually is going to fit together. Maybe we can get away with this. I don't know. There's a ton of little pieces. No way. Oop. And this is the part I broke last time. I broke the little handle thing here. Actually, believe it or not, I used to do models. I was a big model kid, you know. Models were a thing. I used to do models. Airplanes, you name it. Balsa. Assembly not stream friendly, but there's not much to, no, here. Let's just get these two characters, and they've got tabs and stuff. Here, there's a thing on his foot. I'm not going to do any gluing here. We're just going to get this thing. I think that's the idea. There's another little piece. I don't know what it is. I'll think about it later. There's the idea. Let me get the camera. I'll move the camera instead of moving the object. And there's the two of them. And it's actually two separate things. They do come apart. There may be a little bit more pieces. Is he throwing something and stuff like this? There are more little pieces. Is that something to do with squid? I don't know, I'm sorry. Okay, there we have it. Good. Oh, Jed-san, you're not here, but thank you very much for sending these over. Jed, thank you. And as we said before, the whole Ukiyo-e Heroes thing, it totally, absolutely changed our lives, changed my life. Our whole business here, the business of Mokuhankan, can only exist because of the kick given to it by the Ukiyo-e Heroes project back in 2012. We talked about before, we're going to have an AMA. Jed-san and I are going to have a little chat online about 2 weeks from now. We'll talk about this later when we get closer. But yeah, Ukiyo-e Heroes changed our life. And when Jed sent this first sculpture to us last year, it was very much appreciated. And I didn't realize at the time that it was 2 parts. But now, this is something I'm going to really, really keep myself treasure very much as a physical remembrance of all that stuff that changed our lives so much back 10 years ago. You know, I literally wouldn't be here today doing this now if it hadn't been for this. There was a bonus thing, I think included in the first package that came from Jed. There was a bonus. It was a princess figure, and it's now broken in 2 or 3 pieces because you touch it and it breaks. So I'm not going to take it out of the plastic. It's really, really delicate. And I remember in my own days making plastic airplane models and stuff, and yeah, you'd try to get a piece together and pachink, it would break, and you had to fix it and whatever. So, but I'm a bit sometimes surprised to see that these things are just quite so fragile. I broke that first one just at a slight touch. It was last year. Anyway, can't be helped. Okay. For those of you who don't know, the Ukiyo-e Heroes anniversary is tomorrow. Tomorrow, August 1st, is it tomorrow, the day after, August 1st, is the 10-year anniversary of the opening of the Ukiyo-e Heroes Kickstarter campaign. Jed and I are going to acknowledge this. 2 weeks from now, we are going to have an AMA. Ayano-san will be here. She's hosting. Jed's going to join from America by video link, and we are going to have a remembrance, discussion, answering questions, whatever, about the Ukiyo-e Heroes project. That's going to happen a couple of weeks from now, and everybody will have a long advance warning of that, both on this Twitch stream and in the Insta as well. So, there we have it. Okay, I am out of here today. I'll be back here Monday morning. The plan is the same plan that I was supposed to be doing today. I'm supposed to be pasting down and carving the key block for the Surfer Girl. We'll see if it actually happens or if fate is going to intervene with yet one more reason for postponing it. That was supposed to be happening this morning, but it didn't happen. Okay, see you Monday morning. Thanks very much for all the fish. See you later. Let's put the outside up. Oh, look at this gray skies. What's happening? Is there a bit of cloud cover today? I don't know. We'll have to see. Okay, anyway. See you Monday, guys. Thanks very much. Bye for now.